What's going on, everybody? This is Captain Obvious, and welcome to my game review of Super Lucky's Tale. First, let's talk about the story. Lucky, who's a young fox, is the brother of a great adventurer named Lyra. Her latest search was for the Book of Ages. However, she was not the only one looking for it, as the gang known as Kitty Litter was also after the book. They end up confronting Lyra on her return home, and in the melee that follows, Lucky sacrifices himself to save his sister as he is sucked into the book along with the Kitty Litter gang. In the book, Lucky is tasked with returning each world back to its inhabitants and of course defeating the Kitty Litter gang while doing so. It's a simple narrative and one that continues to play out throughout the course of the game. While it may not be the greatest story ever told, it's pretty on par in terms of 3D platformers. Overall, 8 out of 10. Now let's talk controls. The controls feel very responsive and easy to master. However, the one area I had to struggle through is with the 3D camera. Developer Playful has limited the adjustments and only allow you to move it from center to the left or to the right, and not fully either. It's almost like the camera is on a 45-degree plane. You may find yourself misjudging your leaps and jumps because of this, and it can be really hard to land on certain platforms. You will have to rely heavily on the shadow to locate your position mid-jump. I found that attacking enemies was also a hit and miss at times. For example, the first set of enemy ghosts when saving a child ghost in Spookington infuriated me because I couldn't get the right feel or angle for attacking them. These things are worth noting because it can make the game a bit frustrating at times. Overall, 6.5 out of 10. Moving on to gameplay. Lucky has a set of skills that will help him in his adventure. This includes jumping with a double jump, whipping his tail to stun enemies, or even burrowing under the ground to get past obstacles or to avoid enemies. There are a total of 4 worlds for Lucky to explore: Sky Castle, Veggie Village, Holiday Canyon, and Spookington. Each world has their own inhabitants such as wormholes in Veggie Village and ghosts in Spookington, and they all need your help with certain tasks, which upon completion reward you with clovers or coins. The clovers are the world unlocking currency, with each boss stage at the end requiring a certain number of clovers to open them. Think the moons from Mario Odyssey or the stars from Mario 64. Same thing. Each world is filled with multiple stages, and the stages are a nice mix of 3D platforming and 2D platforming. They are well designed and each fit within the theme of the world you are in. Each one is crafted with care, and Lucky has many areas to explore within. You'll even find one stage set in a maze where you must find ways to get from A to B while activating moving walls, avoiding numerous enemies, and trying to collect all the collectibles. Getting to the end of the levels is always rewarding, but not too hard, and you are treated with a clover to add to your collection. Finishing the stage is not the only way to collect all the clovers. Throughout the game, you will find a lot of other ways to collect them as well, such as collecting the letters that spell Lucky, by collecting 300 or more coins in each of the levels, solving vase puzzles, completing burrow runs, or by playing a Marble Madness style minigame. Like I mentioned earlier, each world has a boss stage. Boss battles are not too hard. You just have to figure out their attacks, their patterns, and how to avoid them. Pretty standard stuff, really. Once you beat the boss, then it's off to the next world where you get a small cutscene involving Lyra and her advice. Overall, 9 out of 10. Next up is art design. The game is beautifully designed. The worlds are colorful and creative, the characters are unique and interesting, and they really feel like they would live in the worlds they created. Most of the backdrop is interactive, such as tree branches that you can jump on to reach higher places. It felt as though the developers really spent a lot of time polishing this world for us, and it shows throughout the game. Overall, 10 out of 10. Finally, let's talk about key misses. I touched on one earlier with the camera. The game definitely would have benefited from a 360-degree camera that allowed you to rotate during critical jumps and movements. This seriously hindered the overall fun I had and was a puzzling design choice. Also, the coins don't seem to do anything outside the levels themselves, yet they gather and keep a running total in the hubs. I feel like they could have been incorporated in a more meaningful way, such as costumes, hats, upgraded abilities, things like that. The final complaint I had was the fact that multiplayer isn't an option. Granted, it would have been hard to do in some levels, but the open 3D parts and the burrow runs would have been perfect in split screen format. So overall, the game comes in at an 8.4, With a nod to classic 3D platforming and beautifully designed worlds, I highly recommend this game to anybody who is a fan of the genre. And that's going to do it for me, guys. Until next time, Captain Obvious out. Peace.